I took a slow breath. My hands were steady. That surprised me. But panic has never helped me survive anything. I'm a restoration architect. I spend my days studying cracks in foundations, calculating how much stress a structure can hold before it collapses. Fear is useless when something is already breaking. I returned to the head table, heels clicking against the floor in a rhythm I could control. Ethan, my husband, squeezed my hand and smiled at me like I was the safest thing in his world. He told me I looked beautiful. He had no idea that 10 feet away, his mother was holding her own undoing. Across the table, Eleanor laughed with my parents. Perfect posture. Perfect smile. Then she looked at me. Her eyes were cold, sharp, and confident. She lifted her champagne glass, my glass, and gave me a subtle nod. She believed she had one. I lifted my water glass and took a sip. It tasted clean. Honest. I watched Eleanor drink again, relaxed and smug, completely certain of her control. What she didn't understand was this: I know how structures fail. I know how people fail too. And this one was already cracking. Arihook. But to understand why I didn't stop her, or expose her immediately, you need to understand the war Eleanor started long before my wedding day. Eleanor was convicted of aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. 24 months. No private settlement. No quiet resolution. The sterling name cracked publicly. Arihook. But what came next mattered more than punishment. Part 8, what we built after. We didn't move into the estate. We bought a fixer-upper. We rebuilt ourselves. Trust deepened. Vision aligned. Arihook. And that's when I finally understood what strength actually looks like. That I practice kintsugi now, repairing broken ceramics with gold. You don't hide the damage. You honor it. Eleanor tried to shatter us. Instead, she fused us. We are stronger where we broke. Final Arihook/CTA. If you believe toxic family doesn't deserve access to your life, share this story. And tell me, what's the worst thing you've ever seen someone do at a wedding? Ethan didn't cry. He didn't shout. He went cold. When Eleanor claimed she had done it to protect him, he didn't defend her. He handed the note and vial to the police. He pressed charges. He requested a restraining order. He chose me. That choice severed something ancient and toxic. Arihook. But Eleanor still believed she could manipulate the ending, until the evidence spoke louder than her name. Part 6, the evidence she forgot about. I had already secured the footage. The bar camera captured everything, her glance around, the vial, the drops. No ambiguity. No deniability. Her lawyer tried for diminished capacity. The note destroyed that defense. Premeditation doesn't disappear when caught. Arihook. And Eleanor soon learned that money cannot rebuild a reputation once it collapses. The reception quieted as Eleanor stood to toast. She held the champagne flute high, silver gown shimmering. Her voice was smooth, confident. She spoke about trust. About partnership. About knowing who deserves a seat at the table. She drained the glass. Then she sat. At first, nothing happened. Then her hands trembled. Her face drained of color. She stood too quickly, grabbed the tablecloth, and pulled everything down with her. What followed was chaos. She collapsed, vomiting violently onto the floor, onto the table, onto herself. Guests screamed. Ethan rushed to her side, his medical training kicking in. Paramedics were called. I stayed calm. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, her purse spilled open. A vial rolled across the floor. And beside it, a folded note. I picked it up. It was a speech. A pre-written apology to the guests explaining my relapse. My problem. She had planned to destroy my reputation while I was sick. Ethan read it. I watched something inside him die. Arihook. And in that moment, my husband finally saw his mother clearly, for the first time in his life. Psychologists call it an extinction burst. When manipulation stops working, the behavior intensifies. Eleanor's burst came fast and reckless. She tried to cancel our florist order, claiming I had died in an accident. Luckily, the florist called me directly. 2 days later, I found her alone in the bridal suite, touching my veil. After she left, there was a tear through the lace, clean, intentional. She claimed it was an accident. I repaired it with gold thread, a restoration technique meant to reinforce fractures rather than hide them. I didn't tell Ethan. I knew exactly how she'd twist the story. She relied on plausibility. On appearing reasonable. So when I saw the vial at the reception, everything aligned. This wasn't impulse. This was her final move. She didn't want to stop the wedding. She wanted to stain it. To make me collapse publicly. To humiliate me in front of people who mattered to her. She wanted to control the narrative. What she didn't realize was that she had handed me the blueprint to her own collapse. Arihook. Because Eleanor didn't just plan to poison me, she planned what came after. Eleanor didn't hate me because of something I did. She hated me because of what I represented. From the moment Ethan introduced us, I was a flaw in her design. The Sterling family was old money, quiet, polished, inherited. I was not. I built things. I worked with my hands. I wore boots to job sites and came home with dust in my hair. I met Eleanor at one of Ethan's family properties. I was there for an inspection, wearing a hard hat and carrying blueprints. She looked at me like I was temporary labor. When Ethan introduced me as his girlfriend, she paused, then said only one word. Oh. That was the beginning. Her insults were never loud. They were precise. She forgot to include me in family dinners. She introduced me as Ethan's project coordinator, ignoring my license and education. Every comment was designed to make me feel borrowed, not belonging. But the real shift happened 6 months before the wedding. She invited me to her study, dark wood, heavy books, everything curated to intimidate. She slid an envelope across the desk. Inside was a cashier's check for $100,000. She called it a clean exit. She told me I would never truly fit into their world. That she was saving me future embarrassment. That Ethan would eventually resent me. I slid the check back. That I told her she underestimated the value of skilled labor, and that I wasn't for sale. Her face didn't change. Her eyes did. That was the moment I stopped being an inconvenience. I became a threat. People like Eleanor don't retreat when they lose control. They escalate. Arihook. And the week before my wedding? That escalation turned desperate and dangerous. Eleanor was convicted of aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. 24 months. No private settlement. No quiet resolution. The Sterling name cracked publicly. Arihook. But what came next mattered more than punishment. Part 8, What we built after. We didn't move into the estate. We bought a fixer-upper. We rebuilt ourselves. Trust deepened. Vision aligned. Arihook. And that's when I finally understood what strength actually looks like. That I practice kintsugi now, repairing broken ceramics with gold. You don't hide the damage. You honor it. Eleanor tried to shatter us. Instead, she fused us. We are stronger where we broke. Final Arihook/CTA. If you believe toxic family doesn't deserve access to your life, share this story. And tell me, what's the worst thing you've ever seen someone do at a wedding? It has been a year since my wedding day, but some moments don't fade with time. They settle into your bones. They change how you stand, how you love, how you trust. Eleanor believed she was ending something that night. What she actually did was strip everything down to its load-bearing truth. She is serving her sentence now. 24 months. No elegant dinners. No charity luncheons. No audience. Just concrete walls and consequences. Her lawyer tried to negotiate quietly at first. Old money prefers silence over accountability. But silence doesn't erase intent. And it doesn't rewrite evidence. Ethan hasn't spoken to her since the trial. People like to ask him if it was hard to cut off his own mother. They expect tears, hesitation, guilt. What they don't understand is that the hardest part wasn't letting her go. The hardest part was finally admitting who she had always been. You can survive a wound. But realizing it was inflicted on purpose by someone who claimed to love you, that changes a person. We didn't move into the Sterling estate. That house was beautiful in the way museums are beautiful, cold, preserved, untouchable. Instead, we bought a small place on the other side of the city. It had cracked plaster, uneven floors, and pipes that rattled like they were arguing with each other. But it had good bones. So did we. We spent weekends repairing things together. Ethan learned how to sand wood. I learned how to be still when someone else wanted to fix things for me. We argued sometimes, not the destructive kind, but the honest kind. The kind where you don't win. You understand. Not everyone who smiles at your table deserves a seat. Some people are not foundations. They are faults. And if you ignore them long enough, they will try to bring the whole structure down with them. But if you reinforce the right places, if you choose the right partner, what breaks doesn't end you. It defines you. It strengthens you. It shines. Final CTA/Ari Hook. If you believe toxic family members don't deserve unlimited access to your life, hit like and share this story. And tell me in the comments, what's the worst thing you've ever seen someone do at a wedding? One afternoon, I dropped a ceramic bowl in the kitchen. It shattered across the tile. Instinctively, I knelt to clean it up, already irritated with myself. Ethan stopped me. He asked me to wait. That night, I repaired it using kintsugi. It's a Japanese restoration technique where broken pottery is fixed with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The cracks aren't hidden. They're traced. Highlighted. The damage becomes the most valuable part of the object. As I worked, I realized something important. For a long time, I believed a strong marriage meant smoothness. No visible fractures. No public strain. I thought love was about never breaking. But that belief was fragile. Unrealistic. Dangerous. Eleanor didn't try to destroy us with rage. She tried to destroy us with precision. With planning. With narrative control. She tried to decide who I was before I ever had the chance to speak for myself. And she failed. Because when everything broke, when the truth spilled out in front of everyone, we didn't collapse. We bonded. Ethan didn't choose comfort. He chose integrity. He didn't ask me to be quiet for the sake of peace. He stood beside me when standing meant losing his past. That kind of loyalty changes how you breathe. People sometimes say we're lucky to have discovered this level of trust so early in our marriage. I don't think luck had anything to do with it. We were tested immediately. There was no room for illusions. No room for pretending. We saw each other clearly. And we chose each other anyway. The bowl sits on our kitchen shelf now. Light hits the gold seams every afternoon. It's not perfect. It's uneven. The cracks are obvious. But it's stronger than it was before it shattered. So are we. Eleanor thought power meant control. I've learned it means clarity. She believed love was ownership. I know now that love is protection. Mutual. Decisive. Unapologetic. Not everyone deserves access to your life just because they share your blood.